In today's video, we look at the wrestler star, The Undertaker, and where he is today.
I'm back.
For those of you Gen Z who don't know who The Undertaker is, here's a little refresher course. The Undertaker is a living legend in the WWE, and with good reason. He did a great job of portraying a frightening source of horror and magnificence at the same time, and we loved him for it. The Undertaker was a beacon of raw, unbridled, smackdown awesomeness which sucked for whomever he was set to take on in the ring. While it's easy to get carried away and assume that The Undertaker has always been the world-renowned wrestler that he is today, nothing could be further from the truth. It's been a long road for the legendary wrestler, and today we're going to tell you about his journey. Today we bring to you The Undertaker, Then and Now. Hey there guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to punch that like button and smack down that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my latest content. All done? Good. Now without further ado, let's begin. Mark William Calaway, best known by his wrestling stage name, The Undertaker, is one of the most respected and revered wrestlers of all time. And by revered, we mean like an unholy statue. He was born on the 24th of March 1965 to mother, Betty Catherine Truby, and father, Frank Compton Callaway, in Houston, Texas. Mark, who is the last of 5 children, was a very athletic child. He participated in all sorts of sports growing up, including football and basketball. He started his wrestling career in 1987, choosing wrestling over basketball, which was his originally intended career path. He worked under different gimmicks at the start of his career, even wearing a mask as part of his character for the World Class Championship Wrestling and some other promotions. Shortly after, he moved on to sign with the World Championship Wrestling, where he had a brief stay as Mean Mark Calaway. Later, he went on to join the World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, in 1990, where he made his debut in a match as part of Ted DiBiase's $1 Million team. Only a minute into the match, he took out one of his opponents, Coco B, with his signature finisher move, the Tombstone Piledriver, and was referred to as The Undertaker from then on out. In 1991 at WrestleMania 8, The Undertaker debuted his first WrestleMania match to face Jimmy Top Dog Snuka, defeating him to begin what was known as a streak, which was a string of victories that lasted well over 2 decades. Among those that The Undertaker defeated was WrestleMania champion and wrestling icon Hulk Hogan. Although the match was reset a week later where Hulk Hogan defeated The Undertaker. The match was eventually nullified, maintaining The Undertaker's unbeaten streak at WrestleMania, and the title withdrawn and awarded to Ric Flair as a winner of the Royal Rumble match of 1992. He went on to win the World Heavyweight Championship 7 times, retaining the title 3 times, and the WWE Championship 4 times. The Undertaker became an iconic part of the WWE programming history, with a long list of memorable moments that come to mind. One of such being the dark marriage ceremony he conducted in the ring to Stephanie McMahon, the current brand officer for the WWE. We also can't forget the time when he was buried alive, which paved the way for his renowned dead man persona that wrestling fans love so much. From instigating the first ever out-of-the-ring backstage brawl to the first ever family feud between himself and his half-brother Kane, with Kane locking him in a casket and setting a blaze on stage. I know, right? Those were the days. The Undertaker maintained his 21-0 winning streak at WrestleMania until 2014 when he suffered a defeat at the hands of Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania XXX, and what was described as the most shocking result in WWE history. His track record and championship titles speak volumes of his accomplishments in the ring. But we can't help wondering, what is he up to these days now that he's not smacking heads and throwing punches? The Undertaker announced in June of 2020 that he was retiring from the wrestling world after the last episode of The Last Ride aired on the WWE network. When asked in an interview what his reason was for leaving the industry, the dead man said he was getting old and wanted to spend more time with his kids, with the eldest son already a college graduate. After 2 marriages spanning 2 decades, The Undertaker seems to have finally settled with his current wife, former wrestler Michelle McCool, whom he married back in 2010. They had their first child together in 2012, a daughter named Kaya Faith Callaway. After he announced his impending retirement, his fellow wrestlers took to Twitter to wish-bid him goodbye and thank for his invaluable contribution to the wrestling world with the hashtag #ThankYouTaker. Amongst his well-wishers was the last man he fought in the wrestling ring, AJ Styles. AJ Styles took to Twitter to share his feelings toward The Undertaker, saying, "If it was the last time Undertaker laced up his boots, I'm honored it was against me." Fans also shared their feeling about the news, thanking him for his devotion to the WWE Universe. Being in his 50s, The Undertaker was one of the oldest wrestlers still active up until his subsequent retirement. In an interview with GQ magazine, he revealed that he'd been thinking much about death in the years leading up to his retirement. With all broken bones, torn muscles, and countless realignment surgeries, I guess his body wasn't what it was in his 30s. According to him, he spent a lot of time thinking about the next way his body might be injured, or worse, in the ring. "When you're young, you don't have these thoughts," he said. "Once they start creeping in, it's really hard to get them out," he told GQ. With his amazing career in the wrestling industry, you'd think The Undertaker would do just that, wrestle. But it turns out he has other plans and passions, one of which includes real estate investment, which he does with his business partner, Scott Everhart. The duo completed construction on a $2.7 million building in Loveland, Colorado, and named it the Callaway, a portmanteau of their last names. To many, The Undertaker is a harbinger of nightmares and horror, but to his family, close friends, and pretty much anyone else who's ever met the wrestler outside the ring, he is not only a polite but humble father and businessman. Thankfully, he gets to be more of that now. There you guys go. Thanks for watching. Remember to turn on post notifications so you don't miss a thing. We'll see you in the next video.